Depending on your IP infrastructure, you will use one of the following URLs in your browser to access the SmartServer Configuration UI. You could use the static 192.168.1.22 address if there is no DHCP server available, the configured host name when there is a DHCP server and a DNS server present on your network, or you could use hostname.local in the case of a DHCP managed network when no DNS server is available. With a SmartServer IoT powered and connected to the same LAN network as your PC, your web browser can access the SmartServer Configuration UI, which provides a tab-organized interface to access settings needed to enable features that are required for your project. Let's take a tour. The Help link opens a new browser tab to provide access to the Echelon Biodesto portal where all SmartServer IoT-related documentation is contained. The Network tab is where you choose between DHCP and static TCP/IP network configuration. The SmartServer ships in startup mode, which is designed to hop between different networks easily, which may be the case when you are preparing your SmartServer in an office setting or a temporary network before it is installed in its final network setting. You will likely want to change the factory configured host name to one recognized for your project site. Always remember, most changes are committed by pressing an adjacent update button. In nearly all situations, you will connect the SmartServer to your network using the LAN ETH0 port. In startup mode, the SmartServer will use DHCP to try to find an address and will rapidly fall back to a known 192.168.1.22 address if no DHCP server responds to an address request. It is very important to select between DHCP or statically managed TCP/IP network settings for reliable operation. Startup mode is only used for setting up the SmartServer. The System tab includes key summary information about your SmartServer. From here, you can reset the Apollo user password, reboot the SmartServer, and revert the SmartServer to clean starting conditions using the Reset to Default button. From here, you are given two choices. Most frequently, the Reset Databases is used to do a fresh start while maintaining the current network configuration. When clicked, allow 5 to 7 minutes for the database reset to complete. Note that other than the basic IP configuration, the feature settings will revert to factory settings. The same function can be done through the serial console using this command. Restore to factory settings will take your SmartServer back to the way it was when it was delivered to you from the Adesto factory. The host name and Apollo password will revert to the one marked on the label, and the startup mode will be restored. This action will require an extra reboot and an additional 5 to 7 minutes to complete. The Update Image button is used to upgrade your SmartServer using a prepared USB flash drive connected to the SmartServer. An update will preserve the underlying system while upgrading the SmartServer firmware modules. Updates using this method do not require an internet connection. You can also accomplish this command using this serial console command. SmartServer password recovery is possible with a 20-second press and hold of the Connect button when this option is selected. If you uncheck this feature and forget the password, you will lock yourself out for good. Only uncheck this feature if strict network security requires you to do so. The SmartServer contains self-signed certificates for security. By checking this option, signed certificates are enabled. This will create requirements with respect to certificate authority access and domain name registration. This is an advanced topic and will be covered in a future video. The Remote CMS is left unchecked. We will cover this in a future video. The LAN tab lets you select RNI and router configuration options and port configurations. Each LAN interface adapter attached to the USB is assigned an interface LAN-X ID in order of discovery. Sequencing the order of discovery at first power up allows you to set the U60s to match the channel assignments in your IZOT-CT design in the multi-channel use case. The MAC ID value allows you to identify the interface mappings to the physical channels that have been attached. The common use case implements IP-A52 on the ETH0 LAN interface only. The IP70 channel with IP subnetting constraints imposed by the long talk domain subnet node addressing scheme can be extended to either external Ethernet port, typically ETH0 LAN. If you extend the IP70 channel to the LAN, you should disable the IP852 channel. You may need to create special route definitions within your IP router gateways to support IP70 externally. IP852 requires the config server to manage the channel, but is less demanding with respect to routes and TCP/IP network infrastructure gear management. The single LAN talk interface option is only checked if you have a single LAN interface attached to the SmartServer. This option simplifies transparent replacement of your adapter. Checking this option when more than one adapter is connected will create a potential remapping of the channels with each power cycle. You must take care not to select this option if you have more than one LAN interface attached. The LAN IP Class A network only applies to IP70-based system backbones. In DMM mode, where the SmartServer IoT manages LAN device provisioning, you are given the option to set the LAN talk domain here. If your project includes a U70 power line adapter, use this checkbox to enable the proxy repeating feature. BACnet features are managed in this tab. You need to enable the feature in this tab if you intend to expose data to BACnet IP clients through the BACnet server, or if you intend to monitor BACnet devices using a BACnet router feature. Another video will provide more details about interaction with BACnet devices. The OPC UA feature is enabled in this tab. You can bind the network interface to a specific TCP/IP port used by the OPC UA server. When enabled, client applications can connect to data point values in the SmartServer using the OPC UA protocol. By default, this feature is not enabled. In the Features tab, you can enable the ports used by the MQTT communications. The IAP-MQ feature must be enabled if you have external applications that use the IAP-MQ API. Best security practice will disable this feature if you do not have such applications in the system. The RS-45 tab is available on the SmartServer IoT Pro EX edition. This tab is where you set up which bus type and the serial frame characteristic for each of the RS-45 channels. As of release 2.75, only one port can be assigned to Modbus RTU, and the BACnet MSTP option is not supported. The CMS link jumps to the CMS landing page where all the fun begins. So let's recap. In this screen video, we took a tour of the SmartServer Configuration UI. Work begins here and is typically visited at the start of the project and then not needed in the future. I hope you found this screen video useful. Thanks for watching.